Beginner's Guide. Okay, let's begin the game. Make sure his audio's on. Yes, it is. WASD and mouse. Alright.
Hi there. Thank you very much for playing The Beginner's Guide. My name is Davey Reedon. I wrote The Stanley Parable, and while that game tells a pretty absurd story, today I'm going to tell you about a series of events that happened between 2008 and 2011. We're going to look at the games made by a friend of mine named Coda. Now, these games mean a lot to me. I met Coda in early 2009 at a time when I was really struggling with some personal stuff, and his work pointed me in a very powerful direction. I found it to be a good reference point for the kinds of creative works that I wanted to make. So just to start you off, this is, I think, the first game he ever made.
Looks similar.
It's a level for Counter-Strike.
Oh.
You can walk around here, by the way. And mostly it's just Coda learning the basics of building a 3D environment. But what I like is that even though he starts from the simple aesthetic of a desert town, he then scatters these colorful abstract blobs and impossible floating crates around the level. And of course, it destroys the illusion that this actually is a desert town, and instead this level becomes a kind of calling card from its creator. It's like a reminder that this video game was constructed by a real person. And it kind of makes you wonder, what was going through his head as he was building this? This is what I like about all of Coda's games. I mean, not that they're all fascinating as games, but that they are all going to give us access to their creator. I want us to see past the games themselves. I want to get to know who this human being really is. And that's exactly what we're going to do here. So, it's 2008, Coda starts making these games, and he never releases any of them. He doesn't put them onto the internet, he just makes them and then immediately abandons them, and they sit on his computer forever. And I think he really understood this image of himself as a recluse. At one point, he jokingly renamed his computer's recycling bin to Important Games Folder. So, you know, this was just how he worked. He tended to crank them out one after the other without even really pausing to try to understand what he had just made, until suddenly one day, he just stopped. In 2011, that was it. He made his last game, and then he hasn't made another one since. And that's why I've taken this opportunity to gather all of his work together, is because I find his games powerful and interesting, and I'd like this collection to reach him, to maybe encourage him to start creating again. And if the people like you who play this also happen to find his work interesting, then I'm sure it'll just send that much stronger of a message of encouragement to Coda. So thanks for joining me on this. If you have a particular interpretation that I haven't mentioned here, or if you just need to get in touch, you can email me at daveyWreden@gmail.com. Okay, that's about it for introduction. Let's take a look at Coda's first proper game. As each game is loading, I'll show you the date that it was completed. This first one was made in November 2008.
Alright. Seems pretty interesting. Okay.
Warning. Whisper machine active. Shift destruction imminent.
This game is called Escape from Whisper, and it's one of the more generic games you'll see from Coda.
Alright.
You can click to fire the gun.
Alright.
Security call breached. Hostile alien life forms inbound.
It kinda looks like this game was abandoned mid-development. For instance, you have this gun, which you'd think would indicate that there are supposed to be monsters or enemies somewhere, but then clearly there are no enemies anywhere. You can't even reload the gun when you run out of bullets. But ultimately we don't really know. Maybe Coda thought that actually it was complete the way that it is. And I think that we should talk about his games for what they are, rather than for what they're not.
Enemy force neutralized. Begin.
I love how you can see the bottom of the universe from this room.
Oh shoot. Oh, it's a maze.
Apparently, this space station has a labyrinth on it. Sure, I don't know. There's really no reason for it that I've ever been able to discern, so in the interest of time, I'm just gonna skip you on past it.
Alright.
Okay, this is the part that's interesting. The game has this narrative about the whisper machine and how it has to be turned off,
Alright.
and then you get to the engine room.
Oh.
Hey, you there, in the engine room. You could save us all. That beam is powering the whisper machine. We could disrupt it by introducing a great enough heat signature. If your body could stop the beam. It's so much to ask, but for all of our lives, would you do it? Could you give yourself?
Well, I really don't know you, so, oh well. Looks like I have no other choice. Yep.
Let me pause here for a second. What you just experienced, stepping into the beam and then dying, is probably what Coda had initially intended when he was developing this level. But when he first compiles and plays it, something goes wrong. There's a bug somewhere. And this is what happens instead.
So go back into the beam. Oh. Yikes. Ah, I see, yeah.
The beam causes you to start floating. And this is an important moment for him. Because yes, this is technically a glitch, but Coda identifies something human about it. Like how small it makes you feel in the face of this larger chaotic system. Or this floating could be the afterlife, a peaceful place, juxtaposed against all of the hysteria that you've just had to traverse. I don't even know. I have no idea what he was thinking, but what's clear is that after making this, something lodges itself in his brain. He wants to do more of these really weird and experimental designs. So he stops work on this and moves on to a stream of tiny little games that go in all sorts of directions. Let's go ahead and take a look at the first game he made after leaving this one behind.
Okay. The past was behind her. Okay. I can't move forward.
Yep, in this game you can only walk backwards.
Okay. Let's see, see if we can do this. Alright. Oh god.
So it's a short and relatively minimalist experiment combining motion and narrative. It is less advanced than the previous game, but actually it seems to be more focused, more complete. Coda's trying to give it a unique voice rather than simply basing it on a pre-existing trope.
Why does the future keep changing, but the future could not be seen? Interesting. When she stops and looks, it becomes clearer. Okay. But the future is always behind her. How will she find the strength? Yikes. To confront it.
It's a short little thought, it says what it wants to say, and then it ends.
Alright.
Didn't need anything more than that. Which to me is why it works, because it gets out quick.
Alright.
Okay, next one.
This is interesting so far. Oh, we're in the dark. I'll just go forward. You are now entering. Okay. Where? Where am I going? Oh.
And that's it. Okay, the meaning of this game won't be clear just yet. Please be patient with me for a few more games, and I
Alright.
promise you'll see what makes it interesting.
December. Nonsense.
Oftentimes, Coda would put bizarre titles like this one at the start of his games.
Oh.
I wish I'd known him at the time that he was making these early games. He would really only talk to me about his work as he was making it. Once he stopped work on a game, that was it. It was dead to him. And I don't agree with that at all, but what are you gonna do?
Making the game. His ideas, him as a developer, it's his, things that are going into this game. Can't really go into the mind of someone else, can you? Starting to get slow here. What's this?
Once you've been slowed to an absolute crawl,
Yeah.
the door at the top of the stairs opens. So why, if Coda's not showing these games to anyone, why bother opening the door at all? Well, to show you, I'm modifying the game here so that when you press enter, it'll bring you back up to full speed so you can
Right.
enter the door for yourself.
Okay, alright. Wow. That's a nice room. Stand on X and at beer for 3 hours. Okay. Live on a boat taking orders from a captain. The captain was Rolls
A
Royce.
room that's warm and nice
Proceed to
and
surrender.
filled with little ideas for games.
Sharks trying to eat you simultaneously. You're trying to eat the sharks. Really?
Coda would often tell me that he didn't mind if people thought of him
Right.
as cold or distant. He said that he knew that he was actually a vibrant and compassionate person, but that it takes time to really see that. It can be a very slow climb to get there.
Well, yes, things do take time to do. Like me in these videos. Yeah, I know. January 2009. Ready, set, fish. We're going fishing? Where are we? Oh. Okay, hello? Pretty interesting. Alright. Is this a door?
Well, this is
All
new
right.
for Coda. It's an actual puzzle. Go ahead and see if you can solve it.
Okay. Well, for the sake of this, I already know this puzzle. So I'll just switch this lever, open this door. What happens is that you have to do that because there's another lever here at the other side to open that.
Don't forget that solution, because we're going to see
This
this
I
puzzle
forgot.
again soon. We're going to
This
see it a lot.
has a meaning. 3 dots. Alright. Alright. Nice room.
So that seems to be it, right? You walk down a corridor, you solve a puzzle,
Yeah.
you get to the end. Simple enough. Alright, now I'm going to modify the game again so that when you press enter, it'll remove
Really?
all of the
Alright,
walls
yes.
from this room.
Yikes. Yeah, look at all that. So many levels.
How about that? There was more to it than we had any way of knowing. I actually find it funny that this game comes after the Stairs game, since they
Okay.
essentially convey the opposite idea. So, in the Stairs game, a dull exterior concealed a rich interior. And then, in this level, a dull interior hides this fantastic outer world. Either way, I think that the point is the same, is that most of the time you don't get to know what you're missing, or even that you're missing anything. That's not your role as a player. So if your role here is not to understand, then what is it?
I don't know, some deeper meaning to whoever's making the game. Alright. So we're at this again. We're now exiting.
Aha! So, this, combined with the entering game from earlier, tells us that Coda believes his games are connected somehow. It could even be that the Stairs game and the puzzle game are literally connected in between this and the entering game. There's a bigger picture that all of his games are meant to play a role in, some larger meaning that we won't be able to grasp until we've seen all of them. And once we have, we can step back and start to understand what exactly that bigger picture is.
March 2009. The Great and Lonely Descent. Yikes. That's a nice house.
Let's talk about video game development for a second. Every video game runs on what's called an engine, which determines what the game can and cannot do. So in other words, the engine is a set of tools for game development. To make all of these games, Coda is using an engine called Source. Like all engines, Source has certain things that it does well, and it has certain things that it does poorly. One of the things that it does very well is boxy linear corridors. That's why so many of Coda's games are set in these large, flat, empty rooms, is just because he's working with what the engine does well. The tools available to the creator shape what kinds of creative work they're going to end up making. You might consider paying attention to the architecture in Coda's games to notice how they seem to stem from an engine that's very good at producing linear, boxy corridors.
Huh. Okay. Oh, I fell. Oh, I fell. I messed up. I messed up. Oh. Up, no, again. Woo. Alright. It's just my jump button won't work. Can I jump? Oh, there we go. Alright. Oh. That worked. Alright. It's like a bunker. Hello? What is this? Aw, it's jail. I'm going to jail, guys. Am I going to my cell now? Is this my cell? No.
This prison, funny enough, in Coda's original design, the doors stayed shut for a full hour before letting you go. If you don't mind, I think we're gonna skip that. This is something that he and I used to argue about a lot. You know, whether a game ought to actually be playable, whether it means anything if no one can get through it. And I would always defend that, you know, all this work goes into the game, why not make it playable and accessible? And so we just got into heated arguments over it, and there was one time that after one of these conversations, he went home, and a day or two later, he sent me a zip file entitled Playable Games that was full of hundreds of individual games, each of which was just an empty box that you walked around in and nothing else. Believe me, I played every single one of those just to find out if there was like a gag hidden somewhere. There wasn't.
It's a good prison. Dots. Yeah.
It's the puzzle again, with the exact same solution as the last time. There's still no clear indication of what makes this puzzle so special that Coda is going to return to it over and over. But I promise I'll share with you my interpretation very shortly.
Seems fair enough. I have no idea where we're going. Is this my probation hearing?
Here, Coda begins using a kind of dialogue system that he fashioned out of the engine's chat capabilities. Use the 1, 2, 3 buttons on your keyboard to respond. I'll just, it's nice weather. I'll just go. Oh, another one. You guys are opposites. Space between the doors. The smoky place between the two doors? Alright. And so we make one last descent down to the final floor of the level.
Oh, nice. Oh, it's the lamppost.
It's a lamppost. Okay, I can't tell you quite why, but for some reason, Coda fixates on this lamppost. It's going to appear at the end of every single one of his games from here on out. I'll tell you what I think. I think that up to this point, you know, he's been making really strange and abstract games with no clear purpose, and maybe you can only float around in that headspace for so long. Because now he wants something to hold on to. He wants a reference point. He wants the work to be leading to something. He wants a destination, which is what this lamppost is. It's a destination. We're going to see it in the work as well. His games are just going to become a lot more cohesive, a lot more fully developed, with more of a clear idea behind them. And as we go, that idea will get clearer and clearer and clearer.
Alright. See what else. April 2009. This game is connected into the internet. As you walk around, you can leave notes. All notes you see are left by other players. Really? The internet. Nice room. Not. Oh well, okay. It's a pretty nice room.
So first off, I'm sure you can deduce this, but this game is not connected to the internet. All of the notes that you're going to
Really?
see have been written by Coda. This was actually the first game of his that I ever played. This was shortly after I met him at a weekend game jam in Sacramento, where I grew up. I saw him working on this very level, and it was just so different from anything that anyone else was doing. So right away I was like, I have to be friends with this person. In retrospect, I think I was probably a bit too pushy, trying to get his attention. I was over-enthusiastic. But he was very gracious about it and very patient with me. And I cooled off eventually.
How do you beat this game? Alright. No point to this. What? You made the game. Yikes. Oh, you wrote all of those? Whoa, holy. Can you guys hear me? Alright. There's a lot. Hello. Reasonable.
Oh, feel free to skip over any of these notes if they're not doing anything for you. Nothing extra is going to happen if you read all of them. Either way,
Please make
to
me
me they
sad.
convey a sense of loneliness. I see this person who's filled with thoughts and feelings and beliefs and has no way to express them except as scattered and unheard voices in a game that wasn't meant to be played. But it's ironic, isn't it, that in playing this game and seeing how alone Coda often felt, that we get to know him better and actually kind of connect with him. And I have to be honest with you, this idea is really seductive to me. That I could just play someone's game and see the voices in their head and get to know them better and have to do less of the messy in-person socializing. I could just get to know you through your work. I think this is why I always liked Coda's games so much, is because it felt like they let me have that connection. I felt as though he was inviting me personally into his world. And then I feel less lonely too.
Wow. Wow, this one speaks really very it's very deep for me. That one. Some of these are funny, some of these are serious. I need to go to the freaking bathroom. Okay. Well, I'm not desperate. I help people because of the internal good feeling I get. That's nice. New room. Alright. To be desired. Okay. Scared of writing something. Don't want to feel judged. Right? Misery. Whose misery? My misery? Your misery? I'm just gonna skip this. I need someone to talk to. This is a note? Yeah. It's like an internal battle with him. Let's see. Because he wrote all these notes. Some of these are nice, some of these are not nice. What's in his painting? Who said that? Do you hear voices? I heard some voices. Oh, it's in the game. Oh, wow. Okay. Alright. Oh, they die after the you. Alright. That's pretty interesting.
At the end of this level, we're going to see the puzzle again. And here, I'll tell you what I think the puzzle means. Each of these games represents an idea that was on Coda's mind at the time that he was making it. And the puzzle is a way of closing the door on a previous chapter of his life before
Right.
moving on to the next one. In each of his games, after exploring a theme that, he might find difficult, Coda can then place this puzzle that he knows has a reliable solution, he understands exactly how it works, and so it gives him a simple mechanism for moving on. And because there's this dark area between the doors, a space between spaces, before you move on, you get to pause. Just for a moment, a few seconds to reflect on and let go of the events that led you here. To step back and connect the pieces together. To grasp at that elusive bigger picture.
Alright. Yeah, I see the meaning now. Like, what the other people said. Space between the doors. So, you go through a puzzle, a game, and you go through these thoughts, good and bad. And day by day, just go on, and you reach to a point where you need to move on to the next day. And so you do exactly what it says here. And then you just lock it and then open to the next day. Open to another puzzle next time. Wow. Alright. And the lamppost. Dated June 2009.
Okay, this one is tough. It's gonna kind of just spin its own wheels for a
Alright.
few minutes. Hang with it.
We got a glass table, some sofas. I don't know what those are. A desk, a painting, a door. Oh, and there's a well out there. Alright. Oh, nice. Gonna have a party here. What's this? No way, this is the well. This is the well.
See, like, this is it. The whole game. And there's nothing that's particularly interesting about it. You just walk to the end of a hallway. Except, for some reason, Coda gets really fixated on this prison that has all of this modern furniture. And I don't know why, but he
Alright.
decides he needs to revisit this prison. He's gonna start over, use the same assets, turn it into something else. Okay, cool. Here's version 2.
There's nothing here. Corner, center of the room. It was none of these. But if it was me, TV with sound. Okay, a table, sure. Horse. Huge picture of a horse. Okay. Washing machine, 10 stoves lined up along the wall. Wow. Is this Minecraft? Let's put like 10 stoves along the wall. Or sofas, okay. A skylight. Full ceiling window. Let's open this baby up. Alright, I think a ceiling, fluorescent trim. Tesla coils in each corner. Alright, 2 would go nice. Yeah, we already have a table. Oh, that table over there. Yeah, I mean, it doesn't matter really. Yeah. Okay. Suddenly we're in IKEA.
There's a bit more to this one, but still, it's not really communicating anything. It's kind of just weird for weirdness' sake.
It is.
So, okay, he throws it out and starts over. This time he comes at
Right.
the prison idea from a different direction.
So we're kind of like where the well was. Okay. Click on this table. Three dots. Now turn the floor lamp on this room off. So this one, floor lamp. Oh, that one. We're on. Okay. Okay. All right. Weird. Okay. So we messed up a few things, did some things.
And of course, now the table is gone and you
Yeah.
can't begin the chain of events to escape. Here's a version where there are no bars, but you can't actually get to the well. And then a version where the inside of the prison is the outside and the outside is the inside. Let me just blink you real quick through a few more of these. I mean, he really unloaded on this prison idea. There's nearly a dozen of them. Personally, I think it's awful to watch this, to see a person basically unraveling through their work. And for what? Like, at what point do you just go, maybe there are game ideas other than this prison that I could be working on? But Coda doesn't have that voice telling you to stop, that particular mechanism of defense against yourself. Without it, you just spiral. And so he keeps going and going and going and going and going, and then he hits on something. And he likes it. And that's it. He's done. He stops making prisons. This is the very last version of the prison game that he created. And the reason I think it works is that the prison is not actually in it.
All right, we're outside. It's nice, beautiful night outside. It's the lamppost and the phone. Finally get that phone call. But hello. It's me, I'm you. You're me? So you were trapped in the prison too?
It's a conversation. And so this is what Coda wants, is to be able to talk to someone, to share what's on his mind, and to get some good advice from
But he's
someone
talking
who
to
knows.
himself.
But the irony is that even in this scenario, you're still talking to yourself. You know, all of these games so far are Coda talking to himself.
Wow. Just going through this dialogue. Well, I'll tell you guys probably later at the end of it.
I can see why he considers this a fitting conclusion to the prison games. After all of the obsession and frustration, just to be told by someone you can trust that things are going to be okay. Wouldn't that be nice?
Be perfect. Be fantastic, actually.
So what would it look like if Coda wanted to make a game about talking to someone other than himself?
Ooh, nice environment. I love these environments.
To me, this environment is meant to represent Coda's puzzle, with the two doors on either side and a dark transitional space between.
Transition from prison misery to the future. But this is like a life moment, not a day-by-day moment. This is a life moment, I guess. Okay. This is a nice house. Alright. Let me spill something here and there. Oh, hello. Oh my goodness, I'm glad all the heck showed up. I might be having to clean this entire house by myself and right miserable. It's been... Everyone knows lone hands make lousy homes.
You'll notice that the quality of the art is a step up from previous games, including this new and improved chat system, which he started using from this point on. From here on out, he begins putting much more effort into the visual polish of his work, and this particular game took 2 months to create as a result.
Are we gonna clean this whole place? That's the story, little one. Little one. Oh, don't worry now. We'll be through with the mess with no time. Promise you. I promise you'll wish there was more, okay? I don't finish up here. Clear the table. Oh, this table. Right? I clear the table. Bedroom, make the bed. Okay. This is actually a very nice house. Nice. Oh, messy bed. Made the bed. Straighten the rug a bit. Alright. Yep, straightening things out. Long time since I'd seen a house this messy. This line of work, those adjustments pretty fast. Maybe not your apartment, but something in life needs straightening up. Cleaning, be careful, because that means that everything. At any rate, my place is just to see a piece brought here. Okay, speaking of which, pillows on the couch, rack. Okay, right, so we're straightening some things out in our life. Alright. Spilled a drink. Alright. Okay. Cheesy personal insight. Are you okay with that? Yeah, sure. Okay. No? Okay, then never mind. I'm gonna do the dishes. Dishes are done. The tub. Alright, let's clean the tub scrubbed up. Alright. The books back on the shelf. I saw some books here back. Alright, this is looks like the one I have at home. Alright. Perfect. Alright, yeah. Alright, now how about you clean the dishes off the table? Well, wait a minute. I just did this.
After the intense set of prison games, this house cleaning level almost feels like cleansing. It's the moment after a particularly difficult or traumatic experience where you just need to let it sit and digest inside of you, and eventually cohere into something meaningful.
Own it. Other words, it owns you, so why just believe that the choice of future you present smooth?
I know that Coda really liked this game. Of all of his work, actually, this was the only one that he called me up to ask me to come over and look at it. This was during a period of a few months where he was, like, grossly happy all the time. Just walk around with a constant smile on his face.
Yeah. I was going to say that it occurs to me that one's house looks like one's soul. You take care of it, it takes care of you. Oh, I get it. Weird things just to say. Someone just met. Yeah, you're right. It's pretty cheesy. But there's a bit of truth in it, isn't it? Yeah, there is. How you keep your house is how you keep your soul. Yes. Housekeeping. Yeah. Alright. The books. So, it's just, instead of letting things wreck you day by day, now you're just cleaning it over and over and over and
I'm
over
glad he
again.
made this. I'm glad he found some peace.
Alright. Question.
But, of course, it can't last. The music stops, your companion is gone, it's time to leave. The door at the top of the hill is now open as well. Again, you can't stay in the dark space for too long. You just can't. You have to keep
Exactly.
moving.
Day
It's
by
how
day
you stay
goes.
alive.
Month by month, year by year. You have to go on. You grow. The lamppost.
Which is the whole point of the puzzle doors, right? That sooner or later you have to pick up and move. I really thought that was the point of it.
You thought. September 2009. Oh boy, this game hits home pretty much. Alright.
This one gets a bit goofy.
Why do you come here today? Is it to improve your life? To get a better job? Well, I'm in college again. No. Perfect. Become perfect. Oh. This workshop will teach you how to be perfect. I want your friends, your people like to think, oh, this person is a better human than I am right now. Who own your life. Compare to whom you feel useless, selfish, ungrateful, and intend to make you into that person. Really, perfection is within your grasp. The question is, how do we do it? But how do we do it effortlessly? This is easy. It's so easy. It's so easy.
About halfway through the
perfect is
game, the
effortless.
perspective
Really?
shifts.
Oh, I'm the professor now, and there's a black hole.
And you play as the teacher. And suddenly, you discover that your teacher is just as
Really?
bigoted and afraid as you are. Oh, and also you can move around the classroom now.
Oh, there's a student over there. Alright, so, Billy? Mark? Trish? I'm taking attendance. Alright, okay. This is the key. How do I achieve it with no effort? On the way to work, I told an elderly person to start contributing to society. Oh, that's mean. 3 kids should not follow their dreams. Wow. Okay. So I'm gonna just pick the highlighted part. Well, let me tell you right now. This isn't effortless. I still love you. It's just that you make me feel cold on the inside. Being alone must be awful. Wow. So you get choices to say. It is. You do have choices to say in real life. You have many things you want to say, but then at the end you have to say things that you have to say instead of what you want to say. Just seek out the only thing that's the easiest, simple path. Move forward. Oh, okay. There is no path. There is no truth. There is no path. Do what's easiest. Oh wow. No. Wow.
I felt pretty
Perfection,
hard for this
perfection,
one.
perfection.
I feel like it's one of the most relatable experiences that you can have. To assume that some other person is perfect and totally fulfilled in every way, and completely miss all of the little flaws that make them painfully human. I think about this game a lot these days.
January 2010. Yikes. Perfection, perfection, perfection.
This one took a lot longer than all the others for Coda to make. It was 4 months between this and the last one. That's twice as long as it took him to make any other game before this, and it's not like it's particularly complex, so I remember I found that a little strange at the time.
Yeah, so I'm gonna take a time here to you know, like I was gonna say earlier, that this game actually, I don't know, like seen parts of this game, and it touched me. It called out to me, so that's why I'm actually playing this game, and going through this game and going through each and individual games. Actually, it takes a part of me with it, because in some way I actually, in my life personally, it resembles me as well. In the beginning, the guy was making games and they just ended for nothing. I remember when I was just a teen, I was I forgot, maybe starting high school, maybe I don't know, 10th grade, somewhere around there. Even earlier than that, actually, I got interested into YouTube. I got really interested on, creation and stuff. And same thing, whenever I could in high school, I started recording some games, played some games, some online games, and thought, I could probably just, record these and edit it somehow, put some funky music, and put it on YouTube. Get a hobby going, because at that time I had nothing on to do with me. It was gaming, something that I got an interest in. Doing. I thought YouTube, well, and sometimes it does, but YouTube, content creating and stuff would be something that would help me through the process. But later on, things would happen to me, in life, what happens to others, and as usual, sometimes you can't go on. So I would have recorded thousands of video in a month, and jokes and funny stuff, and then only probably find the time to edit probably one or two of them a month. And then at one time I fell off the YouTube world. I was off for about a long time, and it kind of hurt me a bit, because at that time I had nothing else to do, so it was just me, so I felt in that prison. I was in in that game, he said that there was a prison for about an hour. In real life, I was probably in that prison for about maybe 3 years. I just didn't know what to do with myself, and things like that, in which I now sometimes I go up now. I have some more stuff to do. I got some more ideas, but then again, as life takes me, and these are positive things that are taking me on. I started college, and I started working, an actual job, and it took time off of YouTube. But usually I would still play games once in a while, and so I just keep on going and doing, still be playing around and stuff. So let's see, just a breather, just from just playing this game. So I'll just go on into the next thing right here that we're gonna be doing. Enough of me talking. Let's go onto the stage, and And this stage actually reminds me of stuff. Actually, I took a lot of theater. Not actually school theater, but out of school theater, or just like personal theater and myself. Just studying arts. I like arts, and I like to sing. No, I can't sing at all. Oh crap! All right. All right, the performance is about to begin. Places. All right, and in this scene, you'll be played as me. All right, we are at the gathering of professionals. I'm not professional. All right, there's a wall. Lean against the wall. Hey. All right, good. Stay there. All right. The one across the room. It's in the chair. It's a professional photographer of animals. All right. It's your dream to photograph animals professionally. It's your one chance to learn something from her, to gain something, to succeed. Go on, say something to her. Where's the bathroom? Wow, this saying is actually where's the bathroom is something, because it's something I used to say because exactly the same thing. I would get nervous. I would get nervous, and so I'd be like, oh, I need to go to the bathroom, and I would go to the bathroom, wash my face, and then I just leave the place. All right, so I'll just say, hello, that's it. Well, yeah, that's not a conversation. Let her have another choice. You need to converse with her. Be a human being. Do it again. I'm super scared right now. I like you. Here are all my hopes and dreams. I'm super scared right now. No, that's not what I said to her at all. You're completely missing the tone of the conversation. I was reserved, but I knew what I wanted. I was confident. For some reason, it was just that one moment, but I was confident. Maybe it's what you need to feel better setting. There's a lot of people around us. I'll give you some props to work with, some cones that you can bounce to touch them, present people nearby. Oh, hello, what you go? Oh, okay. So, hello, how you doing, sir? Hello, how you doing, sir? I'll go talk to her again. Okay, I will talk to her. Okay. These are actually nice questions. You must really have worked hard to get where you are. Well, duh, yeah, but you're messing it up again. Freak out with the conversations that get that person at root. Do you realize how important it is for me? Got to know another opportunity. Everything was riding on this. Well, I'm sorry. Alright. Try stepping back from the stage. Alright. It's the lamppost. Alright. I'll be back, people, next week. Hope you guys are having a fun time. Stay. What? Alright. I'll just go talk to the manager right now and.
The game ends with this eerie premonition of what's going to happen next in Coda's life. The solution to social anxiety, to fears of having to perform and having to chase success, the answer for Coda is to withdraw, to hide himself away. Which is what leads to scenarios like the stairs that slowed you down several games ago, where it just becomes harder and harder to access Coda's inner landscape because he keeps retreating. He just keeps backing away from possible connections to anyone other than himself. And to be honest, I didn't consider it very healthy when I first played this game. It looked to me like he was trying to justify the idea of just disconnecting. Because I feel like a lot of his games are inviting me to connect with this person, to bring him closer. This one took a lot longer than all the others for Coda to make. It was 4 months between this and the last one. That's twice as long as it took him to make any other game before this, and it's not like it's particularly complex, so I remember I found that a little strange at the time. The game ends with this eerie premonition of what's going to happen next in Coda's life. The solution to social anxiety, to fears of having to perform and having to chase success, the answer for Coda is to withdraw, to hide himself away. Which is what leads to scenarios like the stairs that slowed you down several games ago, where it just becomes harder and harder to access Coda's inner landscape because he keeps retreating. He just keeps backing away from possible connections to anyone other than himself. And to be honest, I didn't consider it very healthy when I first played this game. You know, it looked to me like he was trying to justify the idea of just disconnecting yourself from the world. And that wasn't what I wanted for him or for his games. Because I feel like a lot of his games are inviting me to connect with this person.
Alright, we're back. Sorry, there was a little glitch in the game, actually. The game actually crashed, but you know, you get the message that I was trying to convey, that actually in retreating yourself from something, you know, it was something, like I said, something that I was, you know, experiencing, that I did for a long time, actually. Well enough for me. Well, you know, let's just keep on with the game. Getting too personal with the game. This guy's blind. They're both blind. What's going on? Oh, I'm blind. We're blind. Shields. Happening. Come on. How do we solve this? Oh, the door is coming right to us. Oh crap, we're gonna crash. We're gonna crash into the giant door. And we're dead. Okay, oh, do I have to do something? Oh, crap.
You should probably open your eyes if you haven't already. It's pretty much impossible to solve otherwise.
Okay.
And there is a solution, by the way.
How do we do it? Let's go. Captain, oh, the lamppost. Creative energy. Nope, that isn't true. Oh, crap. Do I have to keep doing this? Alright, so I have to be honest. Alright. Well, the options are too fast. I don't know. can't keep making these. That's the truth.
Like I said, I was getting
I'm out of
concerned.
ideas.
First off, he's never been this explicit in his work about exactly what he's thinking. So where's that coming from? But then even weirder, his work has potentially stopped being an outlet for him. Not like he's having trouble iterating on ideas, but he literally just can't think of new ideas anymore. And in person, he was being a lot more distant than usual. Like, you know how sometimes a person will just deflect anything that you say in order to keep themselves disconnected all the time? It was that kind of thing. Here was the point in my relationship with Coda where I really started to wonder if he needed my help in some way. His games are going to get more desperate from here on out. After this game, it's almost 6 months before he finishes something new.
December 2010. All right. Hello. Oh crap. Wow. It's actually pretty nice. Is there anyone there? Yeah. It's been a long time. You look lost. Well, yeah. You don't say. Completely out of ideas. I don't know what videos to make. I suck at YouTube. Did something change? There was this engine. There's this motivation. I lost it. I don't know where it is. Looking for a machine? You know where it is? It isn't far. You see it to know why it stopped. Why has it stopped?
If the last game featured Coda talking explicitly about his creative frustrations, this one turns it up to 11. Now, put yourself in my shoes playing this. Here's a friend whose work is exhibiting signs of struggle, frustration, anxiety, depression, even. And yet, still, he keeps making games. He keeps throwing himself into the grinder even when he clearly doesn't have the energy for it anymore. Why? What is it for?
I don't know, just to feel.
Because from my perspective at the time and just what I knew of him, this was a result of how isolated he was. He was in his own little bubble, just sitting at his computer all day, not really showing these games to anyone, not releasing them onto the internet, and so he didn't have anyone outside of himself to connect with. He had no outlet to ground himself on. You can't talk yourself out of loneliness. It doesn't work that way. You can't be the one writing both the questions and the answers. Then there's no movement. Then there's no circulation. If all of your anxieties are being channeled into your work, then if the work ever fails, you have no backup and you're just going to crash.
So I just to lie to
Seeing
myself.
this game at the time that he made it, it looked really unhealthy to me. I was watching him do this to himself, and I hated it. I hated seeing him so trapped. It's like video games are not worth this amount of suffering. This is someone I really cared about. And I used to get so much joy out of seeing him create. For him to suddenly become angry and frustrated like this was the worst thing for me. I don't know. This is what I felt at the time. I don't know how else to explain it. I wanted it to stop more than anything. I had never felt so rotten. I needed more than I had ever needed anything for this to stop. But it didn't stop. After finishing this one, Coda takes another 7 months and comes up with a new game.
Well, this is hard. May 2011. All right. The Machine. Oh, hello, guard. Hello. Ma'am? I tend to be quiet. Very quiet. Someone called the press. Well, it's me. I'm Coda. Well, not really Coda, but I'm prisoner of the press. Hello, hello, hello. Yes, yes. No comment. 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 Thank you. The Machine. Wait, are those the 3 dots?
And of course,
Stop.
it's the Machine.
You stopped. Who are you? Your work was keeping us alive. Those people, do you know what pain they're going through because of you? I've been so alone, so cold. Apologize for leaving me. I've seen the thing you fear. I'll be showing you that very soon. Apologize to the people on your behalf. Hello? But it's not the Machine. It's me. My followers. All of you. My friends. I have a troubling revelation. The Machine will not apologize to us. We'll have to find a way to live without it. We're not failures. We'll have to destroy everything it's created. Destroy everything we've been. Destroy everything. And we're back in theater. Hello! What? No. This is inappropriate. Well, shoot. Well, don't shoot, but oh well. Oh, we're destroying the game. Well, that's not nice. You made this game? It's like the first game. It's meant to do nothing.
So now the work is becoming self-destructive. And I'll tell you, at the time that I first played this game, shortly after he made it, here's what I'm thinking to myself. I'm thinking that Code is stuck in his own head. and that it's having a very negative effect on him, and that all he needs to do is just start showing his work to people to get some actual feedback on his games. It might get him out of isolation.
Okay. Oh, shit.
And so, as I'm thinking this, I realize that I could be the one to initiate it. Because it would never occur to Coda to start actively soliciting feedback, so what if I did it for him? If he could see the difference it would make to have more actual conversations with other human beings, would that bring him out of his mental spiral? Would it give him confidence in himself? Would it bring meaning back into his work?
Oh no, not the room. Through it. Oh, again.
So I started showing Coda's work to people. I took this one, and the islands which you just played, the theater, the notes, the house cleaning game, and some of the prison escape games. I brought them to people that I knew and trusted. I asked their opinions. And the great part is that they really loved his games. You know, the point of it all is just to give him some external reference point, but they genuinely loved his work. There was nothing for him to be afraid of.
Think about what you've done before I shoot.
Can you see why I felt like this was the right thing to do? Because it's the thing that I always feel like I need, to be told that my work is good, that I am good. When someone really connects with a thing that I've made, when they see themselves purely in my work, there's nothing that feels better. And I got to give that very same feeling to my friend. I did something... I really felt like I'd done something good, like I was a good person. I felt like there was a friend who was in trouble and was unhappy and maybe didn't like themselves, and I could fix it. If I could give him this gift, maybe I could fix the problem. When they told me how much they enjoyed his games, it was the best feeling. It was the absolute best feeling. It made me feel so happy, so beautifully, beautifully happy. So anyway, Coda finishes this game, and then really he just kind of takes off for a while. So this is June of 2011, and I didn't hear anything from him for several weeks, I guess. And so out of nowhere, one day I get an email, and it's got a private link to a new game of Coda's. This one is called The Tower, and to my knowledge, it's the last game that Coda ever made. So let's take a look.
June 2011. So we're destroying ourselves. Is that what we're doing? Well, Coda was doing The Tower. I played a game called The Tower before. It's not. Hope it's not. It's not the same. Wow. Suicide.
And this is where I have trouble saying anything meaningful about Coda's work. Because more than anything else, The Tower just feels distant. It feels like it's trying to distance itself from the world. It's a very cold game.
Well then. Let the tribunal start.
This room actually has a maze in it.
Holy crap.
Except that all the walls of the maze are invisible. And then every time you touch one of the walls, there's this awful flashing and noise, so the experience is really miserable. The game goes beyond not being meant to be played, it actually seems to despise the player for trying to play it at all. But I do want to show you the rest of the levels, so when you're ready to continue, press enter and I'll put a bridge over the maze.
Yeah. Alright. Thank you. Sounds like people dying. It's probably us. Our souls.
And to be fair, it's not like this is the first game that's needed some modification to be playable. Like the house cleaning game. You know, that one used to actually loop the cleaning chores and you just cleaned a house forever. I had to cut it off so that you could exit the house and the game would actually end. But that game had an idea that it was actually trying to communicate. What's the deeper idea behind the invisible maze?
What's this?
The only way past this challenge is to randomly guess the 6-digit code. Like the invisible maze, it's frustrating to me, because it's the opposite of everything else that Coda has made. It doesn't encourage thought or engagement. It doesn't ask anything of me, except a lot of my time. If I could have reached him during this time, then maybe I could have asked him, but I couldn't. I still don't really understand why this is here. I'll put the code on the ground for you here, though, so that we can move on.
So it's 1, 5, 1. Crap. Crap. Alright, 6, 1, 7. How would I have guessed this? Oh, nice. Man, this is dark. Alright. And then what? We go down? Yep. Okay. Then we were trapped.
The switch to open this door is actually on the other side of the door, meaning that it's literally impossible to solve from this side. So even if you somehow brute forced your way through the first 2 challenges, and you got to this point, there's actually just no way to progress. And it's scary for me, the idea of Coda cutting himself off entirely, just saying, you know, that's it, that's the end of the conversation, not giving me any way to fix the problem. I feel like a failure, I guess, when I can't fix the problem.
Oh God,
But I can open this door for you, so...
I have a realization. What if the games don't mean anything? And it's just meaningful for this guy. And Coda's actually be doing work. And these games were just side hobbies. And this guy is having some problems. And Coda's is making these games for him. Or I don't know, maybe this guy just seemed a bit creepy, maybe not creepy though, but and then he just wants to see more and more, and so Coda just feeds on to him, and he's telling him, okay, you've seen this, you've seen that, stop, and stop. Mind-blowing. Okay, I'm just gonna keep on going on.
Was I a failure for not understanding this game? I mean, I don't know why I would be. It's not like everything needs to have a solution, but I feel it somehow. I feel like I failed, and I don't understand why. I remember, it's June of 2011. I'm playing this for the very first time, and as I'm playing, I'm thinking to myself, I don't know this person. I have no idea who this person is. It wasn't the guy I knew, it wasn't my friend. I had come to so many conclusions from looking at all of his work up to this point, and then suddenly none of them... I had been trying to, though. That was the thing. For years I was trying to get to know him, to understand who he actually was and what he stood for. I asked him so many times to please just tell me what his games mean to him. I asked him please to tell me what the 3 dots mean.
The 3 dots.
And he wouldn't.
Because you don't know him.
I just felt so strongly that if I could have connected with him, that if I could have somehow made his work my own, that I would finally be once and for all happy. It was that I needed to see myself in someone else. I needed to be someone other than me. But he stopped and left, and it felt somehow like I had failed. Where did I screw up?
Oh.
I'm the reason that you stopped making games, aren't I? It's because of what I did. I poisoned it for you. I don't think I ever told you this, but when I took your work and I was showing it to people, it actually felt... it felt as though I were responsible for something important and valuable. And the people who played them, they treated me like I was important. They really listened and cared about what I had to say. Even though I was showing your work, I felt good about myself. Finally. For a moment, while I had that, I liked myself.
Oh, so he added the lamppost to them.
And then you stopped, and I didn't have anything left to show people. I just had to be with myself. And as soon as that happened, there was no feeling at all. Nothing. Less than nothing. What does that mean? I'm afraid that I did something really stupid because I don't like myself. That's why I'm releasing this collection of your work, is because I haven't been able to find any other way to reach you. I've tried everything. And so a part of me has hope that if I put this compilation out into the world, and if I put my name on it, that maybe enough people will play it so that it'll find its way to you, so that I can tell you that I'm sorry. I know I screwed up. If I apologize to you truly and deeply, will you start making games again? Please, I need to feel okay with myself again. And I always felt okay as long as I had your work to see myself in. I mean, is something wrong with me? Because I know that I did an awful thing, and I'm doing it again right now. Like, I'm showing people your work, but I can't stop myself from doing it. That's how badly I need to feel something again, like I'm an addict. There has to be something wrong with me. Can I apologize? What if I tell you I was wrong? Will that work? Will that fix it? I don't know. I don't think it will, but there's nothing else that I can do. Just tell me what you want. I'm sorry. I'm sorry. Please, start making games again. Please help me. Please give me some of whatever it is that makes you complete. I want whatever that wholeness is that you just summoned out of nothing and you put into your work. You were complete in some way that I never was. And I want to know how to be a good person. I want to know how not to hate myself. Please. I'm fading, and all I want is to know that I'm going to be okay.
Wow. Epilogue. It's really hard. The train station? Grand Central Station. Yes, no. Where do I go? It's time for me to leave.
More love, more praise, more people telling me that I'm good. Always more. It's like a disease.
Well, this is goodbye. I guess. Solution. Alright. Solution. Oh, crap. Oh, look at this. Home. Nice.
I guess if someone had told me ahead of time that he just really enjoyed making prison games, maybe I wouldn't have thought he was so desperate. I wouldn't have told so many people that he was depressed.
Wow.
Maybe he just likes making prisons.
This looks like a nice dance hall or a ball hall or whatever it's called. You know, somewhere to
Even
make
now,
parties.
the disease is telling me to stop. Don't show people what a shitty person you are. They'll hate you.
Sand. Don't hate me. I misjudged people. I've hurt people, and I hurt myself for it. What? Oh, the game is changing. Crackling. Oh. I'm Batman. Just kidding. This is a nice cavern, I guess. Is that what it's called? Cavern. Cave.
If I knew that my life depended on finding something to be driven by other than validation, what would that even be? It's strange, but the thought of not being driven by external validation is unthinkable. Like, I actually cannot conceive of what that would be like.
Wow. I know what that feels like. Well, used to think of a purpose. Do I have a purpose? Is my purpose good? If I don't have a purpose, since I didn't have a purpose,
What
you
now?
become something else. And through him, he wanted to be Coda. And something sparked in him.
I think I need to go. And I'm sorry, because I know that I said that I would be here and I would walk you through this, but I'm starting to feel like I have a lot of work to do. I have a lot that I need to make up for. And so I'm just gonna...
And that's what
Okay.
happens. Just leave. At the end, self-realization, you try to leave to empty spaces. Meaningless things that happen. Where do we go? Why do we go? You go through every day now just not knowing nothing, then not knowing who you are. But at the end, things do change. Hopefully things do change. You find yourself, become another person. Something you truly are. If not something who you should be. But you yourself. And it's hard. Because how do you find something through yourself? You sometimes you can become a person totally so different. You might not recognize yourself anymore. You never knew who you were. So what do you do? Overall, it's a pretty intense game, I guess. Not as in functions and stuff, but it really gets you thinking, of things, people, things you've done, things other people done, and then, and I mean, usually some people already have their life together. Some people never change, but there are some people who do change. The people that are in trouble, they show one thing, but they actually are different inside another, and it's hard. It's really hard, to find or to see those people. And then we're floating again. And the screen is loading. Big maze. Like, what do we do? And at the end, we, exist. Just do. What do we do? Is it wrong for taking one thing? Making our own? Is it wrong just not being anything? Is it wrong just because it's wrong? I don't know. Some things we can't explain. We cannot explain at all because we just are. And one thing that we do have to find, something that we bring yourself, is into peace. Peace in our minds. Things that just, define us who we are at the end. And hopefully it's something good, And things change, same way as, I would say things changed for me. That, sorry. I changed as a person. Before I used to be this person, I would say that I didn't have feelings. How would you say? Like I had to push feelings aside. The important emotions. One time I did, became a person who was practically almost dead. I didn't care, feel, I was, depression is an understatement for how I felt. It was something more than that. It was something that I was just, I didn't feel a meaning, anything like that. And something did happen to me, and it was something really grateful that I did, that I saw was in, some type of compassion. So, and in some way I invested in that, and then I became a totally different person. And so I started, doing more positive things in life, in which helped me a lot throughout these times. But in the end, you try every day to become, peace with yourself. So hopefully this game gave you a peace of mind over peace. It totally does hit me very close to home, and actually very close to my heart. And actually think this game was actually pretty interesting. Actually, to be honest with you, this game I've actually had it for a long time, and I've actually played it through once, couldn't play it through, played it twice, still couldn't play it through. Now about, I don't know, maybe it's been a year later, and I've gone through the whole game, going back into my mind, through history, and I actually been, I'm happy with myself. I'm actually at peace today, so that's a good thing. And hopefully, all of you guys are actually at peace with yourself, which is, I hope, is really good. If not, then there's always some positive, things that can happen. Things like some people find religion and find church. Some other people find other people to talk to. Like you said, just in a positive way. Something to benefit you and probably your family. If you're not, then find people to share experience with, share life with too as well. So hopefully this wasn't really turn out to be very sad or anything, but hope you guys liked it. In the next one, hope I will be actually picking up on more other games. I'll be trying really hard to. It's pretty hard for me right now with time management, and everything. But hope you guys like this video. Please leave a like and subscribe, and comment on anything. Comment whatever you want about them. I really don't care. I do care. I do read them, but it just go as free as you like to comment whatever down in the comment section below, and I'll see you in the next video.